It's the simple things that make the best moments. So enjoy till the last drop.
What's going on, family? What's happening? What's happening? This is your girl, Lady Sarah, and we are back for another episode of Brew. I know I have been gone for a minute. There have been some things in my life um, that I had to deal with, but God is so good and He's so faithful. And I'm going to have to give y'all the testimony a little bit later, but it did set me back a little bit. It had me consumed with my time. But one thing that I do know is that God gave me this platform of Brew. And there's absolutely nothing that's going to stop me from moving into what He's called me to do. And plus, I love doing it. So that's wonderful when it goes hand in hand. But I want to welcome you all. Thank you all for tuning in to Brew. If you're just scrolling on Facebook, if you're just seeing this notification, if you're just seeing this post, I want to say, what up though? How y'all doing? This is our 14th episode, as I stated. I have been out for a couple of weeks dealing with some family matters and some personal things, but this is probably your sign to whatever it is that you have started and you were on a good roll, and then something happened, an instance or something, whatever, has you stop. Get back on it. This is your sign for you to get back right in the book. Go back, get back making the content. Get back, whatever it is, writing the songs, applying for the jobs, applying for school, whatever the situation is, get back into that moment, because the enemy likes to distract us with things. And yes, we have things in life that we have to take care of. Sometimes you can't necessarily plan out every part of your day, but at the end of the day, you have the last say so. And sometimes you just got to let the enemy know that he did not win this battle, and that he did not win, and you're not going to quit, and you're going to continue to do what God called you to do. Amen. And then you'll find strength in that. So whoever that was for, get back. Come on. All right. It's over now. It happened. You handled it. Whatever the situation was, I'm sure God covered you through it. So start back doing what God told you to do. All right. So this episode of Brew has to do with, it's definitely for my ladies. I know we're approaching Mother's Day, and hopefully there's someone out there that is a mother that will be celebrated this weekend and loved on this weekend. But sometimes we have some mothers out there that really, aren't really excited about Mother's Day. They're just like, whatever, I'm just tired. I just want to rest. I just want to sit down. So this particular episode has to do with just us as women, period, when it comes to rest. And what God gave me is He wanted me to break down the way that He gave it to me, and it blessed me. So I absolutely know that it's going to bless you. Rest is so hard. It's so hard to do, but it's so necessary to do. And it's actually a requirement for us to do. But I'm definitely going to dig into it. And it's funny because this morning, when I woke up this morning, and my husband and I, Pastor Damon, we like the times that we can in the morning share time with one another. Our thing is we sit down, we make coffee, and we sit down on the couch, and we, kind of just chop it up about the day, about what's going on. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes we sit down on that couch and, we had a disagreement the night before, and that couch conversation is real quiet. It's real like, it's real dry. It's real 2 words. You good? Are you asleep? Okay, but because we make the commitment, if we have mornings together where we're home together, we like to have coffee with each other. So this wasn't one of those mornings. So we woke up, and as I stated, I've been dealing with a few things these last couple of weeks. And so I woke up this morning, and I was able to kind of sleep in just a little bit. So we're up and we're having our coffee, and I'm, tired. As most women, we say this all the time. I'm tired. So I said, I'm going to just chill this morning. And so as I'm drinking my coffee, Pastor Damon and I are talking, and He gets a phone call, real quick phone call. So I get up because I'm sitting in the kitchen and I look over and I see that there's dishes in the sink. And so I immediately get up and I start washing dishes. I'm making my water. He's talking on the phone. He gets off the phone. I'm still washing dishes. I'm doing this, that, and the other. I take some stuff out the refrigerator because, it was the garbage day. So I'm trying to grab everything out so they can take to the garbage. And he looks over at me. He said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You don't see all these dishes? You don't see, the refrigerator, the garbage come in. We got chicken in the refrigerator. I don't want it sitting in the trash can, so it's going to stink and blah, blah, blah." He was like, "You don't know how to rest." And I'm like, well, in my mind, I think I am resting. But when he said it that particular time, for some reason it hit different. He was probably right. And I had to look at myself and what I was doing and knowing how I felt when I woke up and I was tired. But I looked around the house and there's so many things that I saw that needed attention. And I immediately jump in to start doing it. But this morning was supposed to be a morning of rest for me. And I started looking at all the things and I walked past the laundry room, and then my daughter wasn't feeling the best. And so I'm just looking at all these things, and in my mind, I'm going to take care of all of these things. Yet this was supposed to be my morning of rest. Even though I didn't have to go to work, there were other things that I was holding on to in my mind. I was working them out, and I was just waiting till my body caught up with my mind to be able to make it happen. And a lot of us are not tired because we're doing too many things. It's not necessarily the physical things that we're doing. It's the fact that we're holding on to things that God never called us to hold on to. We can't rest because in our mind, we're doing so many things and we have to attend to so many things. And not only do we have to do them, we have to do them the way that we would do them. Because my husband was like, Pastor Damon said, you got 3 grown kids. Well, he called them grown. I only have 1 adult daughter, but the other 2 are 14 and about to be 11, very well capable of washing dishes. Because I don't know about y'all out there, I think I started washing dishes at 8 when we had to step on the stool. You had to figure it out. Now, it might not have been the cleanest plate, but it was washed. The dishes were not in the sink. But I like dishes washed a particular way. I like them put up as soon as I wash them. And, my kids sometimes like to do it their way. They like to literally just wash the dishes, and then everything else on the counter is still there. You still got the pot on the stove and you still got the cereal bowl, but they will wash the dishes. So when I clean up, I like to completely clean the kitchen. And so when he gave me that analogy, or not necessarily analogy, when he said, well, you got 3 kids that can wash dishes for you. You can be sitting down, resting, chilling with me, I see you giving me some kisses, but you in here washing the dishes. And I'm thinking, well, the dishes not going to be washed the way that I want them to be washed. And then God was showing me right in that moment is you don't know how to rest. And what he did was he gave me an acronym for rest. And rest in this particular episode is going to stand for R.E.S.T, rest, release, embrace, sit still, and trust. And as I stated earlier, we hear it all the time, and we talk about how we want to, have a moment, and we want to go to the spa, and we want to do this and that and the other. But how many times have you ever really tried to rest, but your mind was going, and you start thinking about all the things you need to do? You start thinking about all the things you need to take care of, and what needs to happen here, and what you're going to cook for dinner, and how you need to do laundry, and what you said, and you forgot to call somebody, you forgot to text somebody, you forgot all these things, but you're literally laying down and you cannot rest. It's because rest has to be intentional. You literally have to be intentional about rest. And so, as I stated, I want to just break down, and hopefully it blesses you like it blessed me. But I want to break down the word rest because some of us women are out here, we're really trying to make it happen. We're mothers, we're business owners, we're in school, we have children. Some of us are married, some are not. We have family members that depend on us. We have our jobs. There's so many things that we're responsible for. But when I tell you, if you don't know how to rest, you will not be as productive or even go to the next level. And like I said, we'll get into that. So I just want to jump real quick into it. So rest, as I said, R-E-S-T, R. And I wrote it down because I didn't want to miss anything. Rest, release, letting go of what you were never meant to carry. Letting go of that stress, the guilt, your past mistakes, the things that you did wrong, the things you don't know how to do, and the pressure of being there for everyone at every time and every moment. You don't have to hold it all together. There is strength in surrendering. And when God gave me the release, I saw myself in that, where I think about the things that I did wrong and I'm trying to work so hard to make it right. I think about how I have to make sure that I'm available for everybody whenever they need me. I don't know if you know, a lot of you do, I wear a whole lot of hats. And in every hat, I want to represent God in everything that I do. But I can't wear every hat at the same time. I only got one head. I could take one off and put on another one. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't wear them all at the same time. So sometimes you have to release. And then there's pressure. There's pressure in being a woman, especially in this day and age. Oh, my goodness. If you don't have a really strong confidence about yourself and about where you are in life, there is so much pressure in this world. And, people actually try to look to become pressure. That, they got songs and all that stuff. But anyway, there's so much pressure in trying to make sure that you do everything right. And don't make a mistake in someone holding it over your head. But you have to learn how to release that. That's one way that you're going to enter into this rest that God is calling us to do. The E is embrace. Embrace who you are right now in this moment. Know who you think you should be, not what, knowing, let me rephrase it. Embrace who you are right now and know that it's not about what you should be, but what you're becoming. There it is. I couldn't get it out. And that's so important because right now, I personally want to lose about 15 pounds. Right now, there's some things in my life. I want to be a little bit more organized in my business. Right now, there's some more things that I want to do that I'm seeking God for. There's so many, but right now, I have to understand, I have to embrace where I am. The fact that I'm sitting here in a studio that my husband and I prayed about, that we sowed seeds about, and that I'm talking to you right now, I need to embrace that and see what God is doing in this moment. Not where I want to be down the street, not how I see myself when I'm, praying, or even when I'm looking at things and getting inspiration. You have to embrace where you are right now. Embrace the growth and know that God loves you in every season that you're in. And you have to embrace every season and embrace yourself in every season that you're in. Because, sometimes you're in a season where it's just, things are just not working out for you. You're struggling a little bit. You can't stay consistent. Your eating habits are terrible. Your sleeping habits, you don't have a good routine. You're not studying the way that you should. Every now and then you go to church here and there. But understand that God still loves you even in that season. But when you catch a hold of understanding that there is another level for you and you want to become better, some of that has to do with you being able to rest and saying, okay, let me look at where I am and what I've accomplished and what I have now. And let me just embrace that for a minute. Because believe it or not, you might not know it and nobody might not ever tell you, but there's somebody looking at you wishing they were you, wishing they had the things that you have. And you looking at yourself and you downplaying it and you trying to work extra hard to look like somebody else. But God didn't call you to look like them. He made you to look like you. All right. S. Sit still. Sit down somewhere. You need to sit still. Like really, physically, sit still. In a world that celebrates busyness, grinding, going hard, I'll sleep when I die, that's not it. Stillness is power. There's such a confidence that comes with stillness when you can stop and just let it go by. When someone comes at you and tries to attack you in your words, and you can just kind of sit back and laugh and not do anything, not respond, not clap back, not have that, oh, okay, wait for my turn. Not let me show you type spirit, where you're trying to show somebody that you ain't no punk. You're trying to show somebody that they don't know who you're talking to. When you have that stillness, there's a power that comes from that. And sitting still is hard because everything in you is telling you to react. Everything in you is telling you to go off. But when you can rest in your stillness, that means that you have confidence in God's ability that he's going to work that thing out. When you can sit still in a situation, when you can know that a person is dead wrong, and you can sit back and say, okay, well, if you like it, I love it. And you can keep it moving. When you can sit still enough in an argument to know that, your husband or your boyfriend, just going off and absolutely wrong about a situation, but it's not going to help the situation. It's not going to make it better if you go back and forth with them. And you realize some battles aren't worth fighting. You can sit back and just be still and say, okay, I'm going to just let God fight this battle. It's so important to understand that sitting still has power behind it. It has nothing to do with weakness. It has nothing to do with not being able to, because we already know, we know you can go there. We know you can take it there. We know you are very eloquent with your words when it comes to going off on somebody. That's not necessary. In order for you to get to this next level of rest, sometimes you have to be still. And then the last one is trust. Trust that what is meant for you, you will not miss. And it will not miss you. That is so huge. When I tell y'all, I struggled with that for years. I always felt like if I wasn't the first person to do this, then that meant that it wasn't going to get done by me, and I wasn't going to be able to, be successful in it. And I won't get the following, and people won't, respond to me the way that I wanted to because so-and-so did it first, and they did it. And because they did it before me, that means that mine is not going to be good. You have to know that you have to trust what is meant for you is for you. I don't care how many people are doing a podcast, how many people are sitting in front of a camera, telling their testimony, telling their truth, telling their story. There is nobody that can be you. There's nobody that can be Lady Sarah. And I'm going to continue to be Lady Sarah. I'm going to continue with the word that God gives me. Prayerfully that you're, growing from this, or that is something that you can glean off of or grow from. But at the end of the day, what's for me is for me. And I can't look to the left and the right. I want you to be encouraged, and I want to be a help, and I want to be an answer for women out there who may have gone through a lot of things that I've gone through. But I have to trust to know that despite whatever the comments look like, or the views look like, or, whatever, the support looks like, I have to trust to know that this is what God called me to do. And in my season and in my time, that I will be elevated in that particular moment. So you have to trust God's timing over your own timing, because a lot of times I thought something was supposed to happen and it didn't happen when it happened. And I gave up on it to pick it back up again. And then God made it happen. And the only reason why is because I didn't give up on God the second time around. So don't give up on God. Trust that even in the rest, that things are still being worked out for your behalf. So those were my little acronyms for rest. And there's so many scriptures. You already know there's so many scriptures, so much word that talks about rest. Psalms 46:10 talks about be still and know that I am God. You got that know part. So if you don't know him, then you don't know how to be still. You think your job is to work harder, is to get a second job, is to do this and to do that, and to, just, burn yourself all the way out. But when you know God, and you know God's word is telling you to be still and know that I am God, then you can just rest. Chill out. That's why your edge is falling out, because you don't know how to rest. I don't know. It might be why your edges are falling out, but, I'm sure rest has something to do with restoring things. Matthew 11, this is a really, really good scripture that talks about rest. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, who are tired, who just need a moment. Just, oh my goodness, I just can't anymore. I'm just exhausted. Come to me and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When was the last time that you took on something light and easy because you knew God had it? When was the last time in a problem, in a situation, I'm talking about a straight up storm, a straight up problem, a straight up threat, that you were able to rest and just be easy because you knew God had it? God is telling us, He's commanding us, He's pleading for us to rest. Rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you know that you can rest in that situation because God has already went before you and took care of it, that's a wise woman. It's not quitting, it's refueling. And sometimes when you have the opportunity to go forth, you have to sit back because you're not going to have enough energy to see that thing all the way out and through. You have to refuel. And when a woman truly rests, when she really sits back and she releases and she embraces and she sits still and she trusts God, when it's time for her to rise, she's risen with so much calmness, so much peace. She's clearer in her thoughts and she's aligned with her purpose. So many times we try to question and we question ourselves on what am I supposed to do and what is my assignment. And sometimes you just need to rest and allow God to speak to you in that moment. And then a lot of times we want to rest because we finished something. You know, we worked so hard on a project and we did something so well. And now we want to rest. And that is good and you should do that. But rest should not be the reward for finishing something. Rest is a requirement for becoming everything that God called you to be. So I hope this message on rest kind of reshaped your thought process. I hope you were able to kind of unlearn the way that we normally view rest as it being weak or we're tired or this is just something that we have to do because we've done so much. Rest is an actual chess move. It's a play that strong women take because they understand that the call on their life is way beyond what they can handle and that God has them on assignment. And so their resting is intentional. They're resting with purpose. They're resting with understanding that right now I'm in a season where I'm not clear on where I'm going next, so let me rest. Right now I'm in a season where there's so much responsibility on my plate, so let me rest so that I can get the right direction, so I can be clear on what I want to say. Right now I'm resting because my body is overworked and I'm doing things out of character because I'm just trying to make it happen and I'm just trying to make ends meet and I'm just trying to get through the day. But in actuality, when you learn how to rest, you can move with more focus and more intention and more with more power. So, ladies, this week, get you some rest. And I would even say, pray and ask God about how you should rest because I understand that you have responsibility. You still got to feed the kids. And no, I'm not saying go lock yourself in the room and close the door and forget all your responsibilities. I said make it intentional, meaning plan it out, plan your rest out. Prioritize what you feel is important because sometimes what you put your rest is on the bottom of the list. You need to probably move your rest up to, number 3 or 4 on your things to do for the day. Because it's really the thing that's going to help you get through the day. It's going to be the thing that helps you move forward. And everyone around you is going to benefit from it. Your spouse, your friends, your children, your family, at the workplace. Because you've rested in God and you understood that this right here is a wisdom move. This is a smart move for me to rest. Now I can be clearly and don't be pressured by the world, pressured by anybody to make you feel like you're supposed to have the answers now and you're supposed to be on to the next thing. Some of us have been placed in a season of rest for a minute. So enjoy the season of rest. If you're not in your season of rest, intentionally plan you some rest and watch God take you to another level. All right, y'all. Well, that was Brew. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be back talking with you all. I'm excited about what's going on in this next season of Brew. It's about time to start having some guests on so that we can just start kicking it, being real, everyday women, and finding out what's going on and how these real women handle those situations and things like that. And I truly believe it's going to be a blessing to all that watch. So if you all could do me a favor, if you all could share this broadcast, let somebody know that Brew is back and better. And definitely in the comments, if there's something that you want to share, want to talk about, just let me know. We'll dive into it and we'll expose it so that we all can be better women, because between me and you, I'm ready to rest to see what God has for me next. So I will catch y'all the next episode next Wednesday. Let everybody know Brew is back. Oh, and before I let y'all go, I got a quick announcement. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but this Sunday is Mother's Day, and I will be bringing the word at Live on Purpose Christian Center.